email it to you.
Mhm. Hey, everybody. It is pizza
Hey,
time.
hey guys.
So it's,
We
it's
got
pizza
Mario
time, dude.
here. We got Mario here, as
Hey, grab
usual.
a slice. Grab a slice.
What are you eating? I had some pizza last night. It had extra cheese on it. It was delicious.
Nice.
I'm making zucchini right now because I
Yum.
ate like a fat piece of shit this morning. So I mean
Yeah.
afternoon. Sorry, I don't eat in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to level things out with only zucchini dinner.
Any olive oil?
Tons. It's
Good,
floating in it.
good. Mamma mia.
You don't eat in the
Tonight,
morning like intermittent fasting or just
I have a weird thing where like I feel like my stomach doesn't really like let me eat anything until like 5 hours after I wake up. Like it doesn't really want like I have a bunch of coffee though, and then it kind of
mhm,
yeah.
pauses the stomach for like 4 or 5 hours,
mhm.
and then I'll eat lunch. But
Nice.
I haven't ate breakfast in a minute.
Yeah, I'm just too lazy I don't want to cook first thing in the morning. I do coffee until like noon
Mhm.
and I'll just pick up some garbage on the way to work.
Yeah, for sure.
We got the like Costco noodles. That was a big exciting thing today. That's why I reheated. Those like
Okay.
pre-made
Hell yeah.
Costco noodle packs, they're so good.
I've never had a membership to one of these superstores before.
Yeah, it's my girlfriend. They deliver too. Uh
Well,
that's one of the things like lockdown Costco delivery. We just started doing that. Now we're still doing it. It's
word.
kind of sick.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I want to just jump in real quick, give you a proper introduction. We have Ryan Simone here tonight, kind enough to join us.
Thanks for having me.
I was a big
Nice
BJ.
to meet you, dude.
Yeah, you
Nice to meet
too.
you.
Appreciate it.
I was a big BJ's guy when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember BJ's. It was kind of
BJ's?
a
Are you?
record. It was a precursor to Sam's Club. Yeah,
Oh, all right.
Okay.
trying
Yeah,
to
sound like you were just
I
getting
like
blown.
as a
yeah.
kid.
I like
You
getting
know,
blown when I
Yeah,
was
dude,
you
I
young.
like
know,
BJ's.
yeah, Costco noodles are great, but what's really great is BJ's.
That's right.
That's how I start my day.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
anyway, yeah, we got Ryan here tonight.
Dude, what are you drinking? A fucking gallon of Tang right now? What is that?
No, dude, I'm drinking a seltzer right
Oh,
now. I've
all
got
right.
navel orange. Yeah,
Nice.
drinking orange
All right.
juice and getting blowjobs.
It just caught me off guard.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah,
noodles, have
yeah,
you
noodles.
you're in Carolina, right?
It's a little al dente. Yeah, I'm in the fabulous Raleigh, North Carolina.
Nice.
The Big Acorn, as they call it.
Okay. Do they actually?
They do. They drop a big acorn on New Year's Eve
What the
in
fuck?
in the city square. Yeah,
Interesting.
Dude,
it's like the
that's
ball
out,
dropping, except it's a fucking acorn.
dude, that's out of control.
Where
We're
are you at,
wild down
Mario?
here.
I'm 20 minutes outside of Chicago.
Okay. Sick. Okay. That's more my direction.
Yeah. I'm a
You're
suburban.
out in Missoula.
Yeah, Missoula, Montana.
Whoa.
Is it
Yeah.
like beautiful there right now, or is it hot?
Now's the time to be here. It's not, dude,
Yeah.
June's been really rainy and like today I was racing to mow the lawn because there's clouds coming and now it's nice though. So
Yeah.
dry, hot summers, miserable winters. This past winter sucked. Uh
Woo.
but Missoula itself is pretty. I like Missoula.
Yeah.
Is everybody's like backyard just like miles long and there's just like fucking bison walking around?
So, yeah.
I've never been to Montana, so I envision it as like everybody has like a Yellowstone property and like is it not
Yeah,
like that?
Harrison Ford's your neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. Um dude, it's funny Yellowstone's huge now because like that's totally shaped everyone's idea of what Montana is.
Yeah, totally.
I've never watched it. I tried watching it and
I've never seen it either.
it's kind of garbage.
No, I've like walked in on my parents watching it on accident and that was bad. I had my fill
It's so
in a couple
boring.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at Far Cry 5, the game takes place around Missoula County. which is kind of sick. And I much prefer that misrepresentation of Montana than Kevin Costner's Yellowstone thing.
Yeah, it's really like porn for boomers right now. It's
The
really
cost.
weird.
Exactly. Yeah. My mom was an extra for like a split second in one of the episodes.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. They film
Yeah.
around here, which
She
is about
watched-
as it's about as exciting as it gets in Missoula.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, everyone moved here during lockdown, so it's like between Missoula and Bozeman, most like Californians and New Yorkers moved to Bozeman, and it's kind of funny because like they're all these rich people dressing up how they think you're supposed to in Montana, and they just look like Twin Peaks characters, you know.
Yeah.
Bozeman's kind of funky right now. And
Is it like the Sherpa collar?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
That's what I would get if I moved there. Probably.
Yeah. It's fun though. I like it here. I didn't think
That
I'd
sounds rad, dude.
grew up here. I didn't think I moved back after college. I didn't think I'd stay, and I'm kind of happy I did.
I hope to see your beautiful state one day. I don't think I've ever like really like spent a day there or anything.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah, I've never been either. We'll have to come out.
There's really no reason other to than that you just want to, you know.
Yeah.
I guess there's Glacier. Glacier is a huge spot. Glacier National Park.
Yeah.
And Yellowstone. That's more Wyoming. But yeah.
Well,
Right,
hell
Beth.
yeah. Let's
I get
let's jump.
I get those two confused, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump, dude.
Let's jump into this second issue of American Vulgaria. It's
Oh, yeah.
coming out. Has it been printed?
It's been printed. It's on the way. It's supposed to be in this
Good.
past week.
You
We'll
guys
see when
can
it gets here.
order it on, or you can pre-order it online. Ryan was nice enough to send me and Mario a copy so we could check it out
Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
before the and I was perusing it this morning, as I'm a horrible procrastinator. So I've had it for a week. I
Yeah.
skimmed it immediately when we got it. I read mine,
Sick.
and then I got through 75% of it today. I'd say.
Nice. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it was really nice to honestly start my day. I was like worried about the sort of character I was sort of putting forth in my interview, but then I got to the Stan Haynes one, and I was fine after that.
That's hilarious.
That was a very unhinged, but very enjoyable in a lot
He's
of ways
hilarious.
as well.
Yeah, what was he called? COVID, like Chinese lung herpes, and
Yes.
yes.
He starts his morning praying, thanking God for Chinese lung herpes before getting on Zoom calls with no pants on.
Dude,
I
he's
believe
great.
is yeah.
He was
it is
funny
really
because
great.
I sent him his Q&A, and then I got like these long responses just the day after. Like he was on top of it.
Yeah.
He's kind of nuts. If you like their Cars and Women zine, he writes a personal message to everyone who orders it, and he's just constantly doing something. He's insanely productive. I need to tap into that.
His comparison of like cars and women becoming more or less formless over time was also really funny to me, saying that it's like it's all minivans and mid e-girls, I believe is the quote.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
No, that was good. It's funny that you were kind of nervous because like I had another buddy who we recorded his interview, Al in the he's one of the features. I grew up with him, and I mean he speaks like a normal guy. Like he says, you know, fucking this and retarded that, and once you see it in print, it kind of like hits a little bit different.
Yeah.
So he was nervous about that. I'm like, no, I mean there's other like interviews in here that are worse, so don't worry about it.
It's not necessarily worse. It's just like it just felt very bare. You know what I mean? Like there's all like when you're running your Instagram account or anything. If something isn't great, you can delete it. And like,
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna be in fucking print forever.
Dude.
But honestly, dude, like, thank you so much. It was really an honor to be interviewed, and it was really fun. And I think you, the whole thing's beautiful. But I really like how you treated my artwork as well. So
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
No, it's an honor to have you in it.
Yeah,
I
dude,
loved your
everything looks really fucking nice. Like I like it. It looks so legit. Like it looks I don't know, like just aesthetically, like the way the whole thing is put together, like it looks like something you could walk in, you could grab off the shelf of your local grocery store or something.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's fresh, dude.
it
sweet.
is.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
speaking about the physical copy, I do have the first one here, and I can attest to it feeling quite good as well. So
Sweet.
Quality.
and smells good too. So that's three of the senses at least.
That's perfect. At least those three. Yeah. Yeah. I I want to get it on shelves, but I feel like I've put too many titties or nudity. Like I think it's already enough that it wouldn't qualify as pornography, but
Yeah,
hard to say.
you've got a fucking blowjob in this first one here somewhere.
I have one in the second one too.
I
Um
must have missed
Every
it. But
every issue,
every
gotta
issue
one.
gets one. Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
this
it's
one
funny. It's like it's really small and like it's green, but I'm like, that's a fucking dick. Hell yeah.
So did you like how did you start? Like is this your first rodeo with the zine, or did you kind of do maybe like smaller ones before, or like what was your how did you get into even tackling like something like this, like publication?
Yeah, I never before the first one, I never attempted anything like it. I mean, back in 2020, I put out a small one that's this is really before like American Vulgaria found itself. And this was like, pre uh perfume nationalists and this whole podcast scene, and before like it seemed like it was okay to speak candidly and earnestly without feeling like you're gonna have like all of left-wing America up your ass,
Uh-huh.
Um, but I mean, this I've never done. Like I've I've written for publications and done the whole freelance thing. But as far as like publishing or making a print magazine, that was the first go at it. Um, it's funny too. I think like the whole zine scene, what's charming about it is that it's all loose and off the cuff, and it's like Xerox computer paper quality. But I just when I got down to actually making it, I couldn't. I I have all like my whole stack of like big time magazines that I was kind of starting to emulate in the creation of mine. Just because I want it to be nice. It's kind of like the way I think of it, it's like a zine on the scale of a magazine. It's like 110 plus pages. Um, yeah, and I don't know. It's I've threw up a few interviews online before going to print, and it's just so unsatisfying.
Yeah.
I'm sure like even as a musician, there's a big difference when like throwing something up on Spotify versus having a physical disc in your hand, or
Yeah,
physical
totally.
media. Like it just feels kind of what you're saying, Dakota. Like it's in print, like you can't erase it, and
Yeah.
there's just something, you're making a commitment there that's more real and tangible.
No, I think it's the good call, man. I mean, you're sort of in a league of your own, I think, with this, which is I can't think of anything, especially because it's only you as well. I'm not saying that you couldn't fold other people in if it needed that eventually, but it's very much, and you got your artist statement here at the beginning. It could be viewed as a um like an art exhibition almost. This is sort of a collection or an album. You've got different tracks, but it has the cohesive feel, but everything's a little different. And
Yeah.
I can't read interviews online. After a certain point I just start scrolling, and I can't, like, with this it doesn't feel as rushed. It's not, because there's no tab to swipe. There's nowhere else to go. You might as
Yeah.
well sit and read it.
Yeah, man. I mean, magazines are comfy for that reason. It's like you don't even have to
Yeah.
be like that. Like I love magazines. I don't really sit through and read them all. It's more of the design and feel for it. And I mean, pre-internet, during like the glory days of our childhood. Some of my favorite memories were just like surfing through my buddies' Sports Illustrated like swimsuit magazines while they're playing
Mhm.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, you know.
Totally.
And you're just kind of lusting over these images, and
Yeah.
you know, like when I approach these, it's like the magazine itself. It's the magazine itself is like a work of art too. It's a cohesive thing. And
Mhm.
then, I rely on the talents of people like you to like fill in the content and have
Yeah.
something substantial there. But as far as where my work comes in, it's just making it look pretty and cool. Throw it on your coffee table and there you go.
Yeah. I mean,
Dude, yeah,
it's here
people aren't
living
throwing
online.
out, yeah, people aren't throwing other coffee tables anytime soon. So,
That's right. Yeah.
you got to put something on there. Fuck.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was basically it. It was, I never written for magazines or designed for anyone else. I'd love to do that now. Like, I'd love to just make this my work. I mean, print anything is just not, it's not,
You're
what it
fighting the
used to
uphill
be.
battle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There are, I mean, the whole dissident right thing has a lot of print publications
Yeah.
now. Some good, and like I think most pretty shitty. Um, but
It's this sort of Fahrenheit 451 principle of, words being changed. So then you end up with guys out in the field reciting literature so that it can't be erased.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
really liked the J. David Osborne.
Mm,
It was also the most like mentally stumping. Like that's sort of where I stopped today because I just was like, well, it was just so dense. But I didn't know if you wanted to maybe speak a little bit more to that one specifically because it seemed like there was a real dialogue in that feature specifically that stood out to me. I kind of liked them being sort of stumped by what you were saying, especially like with the sort of the talking about how being online is effectively liberal in and of itself
yeah,
because it's liberal technology.
that was a funny one. I was hesitating whether I'd want to even put in that whole intro there
Mm-hmm.
because it's me kind of like jerking off to myself by even including it.
Well, I
Um,
mean, I like it builds you as a character within it, so I think that's helpful.
that's something I had to lean into. That I kind of discovered with the first issue, that doing this by yourself, it's me doing the interview, so it's my name, uh, and the interviewee over and over,
Hmm.
which kind of has like, I don't know, it's like the magazine kind of almost becomes like an epistolary novel, however scattered
Yeah.
with different characters.
Hmm.
So I had to almost objectively view myself as a character or perspective, like the
Yeah.
framing of this. That one was funny though. I mean, I did that one, the agitator with Jay David and Kelby. Um, I did theirs and Scout Dixon's in October. It's like right off the
Hmm.
heels of the release of the first issue. Um, and then I mean, this is before I had my kid in November. So after I had the kid, it was like months until I,
Yeah.
followed up with the rest of the magazine. So to me,
Hmm.
it feels kind of disjointed. Um, but
I know what you mean. I've got a song on this record I'm doing that I wrote 3 years ago. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And I'm like, what is this thing even at this point? Like it does, I mean, it still represents me, but I'm like, I can kind of look at it in almost a historical way, if
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. But I was
Oh,
saying,
the daddy issue. Now that you're a daddy.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Volume 3.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to get the third one out quicker, just so it feels more cohesive.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the agitator one was fun because those guys, they're both of them are so articulate in their own ways.
Mhm.
And it was such a free flowing convo. So free flowing that I mean, I got hammered while interviewing them too, which is kind of funny,
Mhm.
like re-listening to it. But I they were so natural at it that, but it was when I started like transcribing, because what I do is like I record off Zoom and then I just listen and transcribe and then kind of piece together. And it's kind of funny how like these interviews naturally kind of form their own narrative. And with theirs, I was worried that it is just a whole mess of info that doesn't really tie together in any, tidy way. But it
Mhm.
kind of it kind of did. I mean, we got into like towards the end of it, like we start off with the my brilliant insights on Twitter and social media being inherently, libtarded or liberals and
Libtard coded.
libtard coded. Yeah, everyone's well, it's like Anna from Red Scare always says that, we're all liberals, whatever you
Mhm.
think you are, everyone here is a liberal. And I take that to mean that if you're on Twitter and you're using this tech, like it's a medium is the message kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
you're swimming in the soup of liberalism, and
Yeah.
whatever dissident thing you do is just you're kind of just crying out into the void,
Yeah.
void. So it's or you're just providing content. It's like I mean that was the whole joke of like the movie Network back in the 70s, that
Mm-hmm.
the machine kind of eats itself and it finds a way to um take its dissidents and take its whatever the protest against it becomes content, it,
Yeah.
so that was a fun convo. Is fun to kind of like just air that out. And we went into all of these interviews. Really, I don't give them anything, an agenda of what we're going to cover. It's just really losing off the cuff. And it's more of just
Yeah.
like a podcast in written form, and giving a sort of like written word texture to this sort of audio space we're in now, you know. Um, and then I joked like offhand, I joked that I was going to turn them into like Max Payne, PS2 characters, and they liked it. So I was like, oh fuck, okay, I'm gonna do it. And that that took a while to figure out, but that
Yeah.
turned out
It
well
looks
enough.
cool.
That is rad as fuck.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I love the agitator interview. That was the last one. It's one of the earlier ones I recorded and one of the last ones I finished in the magazine.
Mhm. Have you been doing any interviews kind of lately to promote this, or are you just kind of in dad mode and in work mode?
Oh god, dad mode, work mode. I need to start reaching out to promote it and do the whole like podcast thing. I I switched printers with the second issue, which has been
Yeah.
kind of stressful because I love the quality of like issue one. I did it with
Yeah.
Picho, but they raised their prices to the point that it didn't make sense. So I
Mm-hmm.
found a different printer, but they're kind of taking a while. So now I'm like, don't even have the magazines in hand, and we're
Yeah.
past the release date, but whatever.
I'm not trying to put any bad energy on you, but after we kind of talked about this, I had this dream and I was reading the second issue, but
Oh.
it was like newspaper. It felt like it was in my dream. It felt like those like birthday presents
Oh,
you got where they were wrapped in that like paper with the old comics.
Okay.
And everything was bled out. Like I could see my interview, but everything was like bled out and like,
No way.
obviously I was dreaming, but I was like, oh my God. I don't know. I just have,
yeah. Don't
I
they say
dream
you
about.
can't read in dreams or something like that? You can't
That's what I'm
read
saying.
things.
It looked like a psychedelic representation of my oil paintings, because I think
That's
that's
kind
the
of
one
sick.
I'd seen, but
Yeah.
it was like that very like dry paper feel.
Interesting.
I was like, oh no.
Did you ever read Ubik, the Philip K. Dick? I was just on the Getting Lit podcast, but in that there's like that whole book has a nightmarish quality where the world and the media around them it regresses to like older forms. Um, that just made me think of that. I've
Yeah.
entertained like each issue being a different style of printing.
Yeah.
Like this is a
Yeah.
glossy page, more conventional
Mhm.
magazine, and then doing something more newspapery or booklet or pant. Like,
I mean,
however,
the
but
Stain Haynes one would lend itself to that. You could have that the black and white kind of pulp thing there. I also wanted to just highlight the short play as well,
Oh,
and
Roman. Oh yeah.
maybe talk a little about little. I don't mean this all just to be airing all the problems that you've had with the second issue, but
No, it's totally good.
there was a New York release party at a certain time where I think there was going to be I assume a live reading of this, but
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm pretty bitter about that.
yeah,
Um,
we don't have to talk about it if you don't
no,
want
it's totally
to.
good because it's weird, dude. I mean that okay, there's a
I
lot of
think
new.
I think people need to hear how the sausage is made. Essentially,
Oh yeah, I mean it
it's
is.
it's
Something
not
bad happened.
it's not all glorious here in the podcast world.
Well,
I
dude, I
know
mean
it looks so easy from your end.
Did
no,
Anyway,
something
go
bad
ahead.
happen?
not really, but God. Well, I mean, okay, so Roman's sick. He sent this play. He's a New Yorker, so he sent the play with Swamp Monster, which I'm really proud to have in this. And immediately after, I thought it'd be sick to do a New York launch party, and that was kind of his idea as well. And so I loaded up with some New York personalities like Stain Haynes and Pride the Doll. I think like half of this are New Yorkers, just to make something like that worthwhile. And I'm not. It's still going
Mhm.
to happen at some point. It's
Yeah.
just like this guy who's running a venue. I think in the whole Dime Square thing. I don't really know what that is, but it's part of that whole scene. Reached out to offer his venue to do this, and then when it kind of got up to the wire for me to like get the tickets and plan it, he pulled out. Um, dude, the New York art scene, from my interaction with it, online, is those guys are just some of them are professionals, but a lot of them are just, it's like it's like herding cats. It's they're all really flighty, and frankly too, I mean the whole like they do a lot of like reading parties. Um
Yeah.
I maybe that's cool. I may have to see it. I don't want to hate on it before like experiencing it, but it just seems really lame to me. Uh that's something I don't want to host. I would
Yeah.
love to do the Swamp Monster play though, because it's sick and he's done a performance of it. So my idea was like do that and then the rest be like DJ drinks and stuff. But I mean I come in like Missoula, Montana. We're a bunch of there's an art scene here, but all
Yeah.
people do is just drink and listen to music, and that's fun. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
I don't need to sit around
Mar-
and read and listen to people read.
yeah. Speaking
Yeah,
of the
dude, I'm not trying to
swamps,
listen to a bunch of heroin addicts read all slow. Then
Yeah.
then they wake up and they're like, "Oh, where was I?" And you're like
Uh-huh.
playing popcorn. You're playing popcorn with a bunch of junkies. That doesn't sound like a party.
yeah,
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that I don't know these good people. I don't know if they're all
They're
addicted to
they're all
heroin.
good. They're all good people.
Yeah,
There's
I
yeah.
think uh
New
Mario,
York though. Yeah, New York. Who knows?
there was a reading of Swamp Monster, and our friend Anthony Cisco was one of the
Hell
pimp, I
yeah.
believe.
Yeah, he's John.
He was
Oh, cool.
John.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
two characters are John and Slut. Which is hilarious. Dude,
I
Anthony,
really
he's a perfect John. He fits that.
He's good at pulling the cork.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hitting those beats, like he's got that nice sleaziness about him.
Yeah.
I love the art that you did end up going with for Swamp Monster. Who did that for you?
Oh, dude. Well, that's I mean that was public domain, but it's
That's public domain. Okay.
what's his name? Otto Dix or Deeks. He's German, I
That's
want to
Auto
say.
Dix. Yeah, shit. I love
Yeah.
Auto Dix. Yeah.
I
Cause
love these paintings, and I've been like waiting. They've been just sitting on my computer for a long time, and I was like, I got to use these for something, and it totally fit Swamp Monster
I
to my
think
mind.
Otto Dix was painting during the Weimar Republic, so it's sort of also prescient to sort of what you could say might be culturally is going on in
Absolutely.
America as well.
Yeah.
This was the time leading up to sort of the Nazis taking over, where there was sort of a influx of bohemian lifestyle that sort of affected the German culture.
Hmm.
And Otto would paint in a way to sort of uh, document this. And one of his most famous ones is that sort of transvestite, the woman in red, I believe. I
Okay.
can't remember what it's called. Maybe you can look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking it
Um,
up.
she was like a famous burlesque dancer, but she just looks like blown out, kind of, you know.
Is it the one where she's smoking a cig
Yeah.
in like the red checkered?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. With the kind of like Marilyn Manson face.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's how
he's
I found out about Otto Dix. But his self
sick.
portraits are really great too, and he was a big influence on me when I mean, continues to be, but all those German guys were kind of big influences on me early on
I could
when I
see
was
that.
getting into painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can do this kind of, it's like I did it backwards, they probably knew how to paint,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
like formally, and then they kind of broke the form, and I started with the breaking of the form, and I'm slowly working my way into being able to present things in a natural way.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of fits Swamp Monster, and like the content of the play itself isn't it's not too graphic. Like it's really a lot of like the sex and violence is like
Yeah.
just kind of suggestive, and
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
the imagery with this, I mean, I think like the paintings I use for it are called like Sex Murder and what's the other one? It just kind of
Yeah.
fit the vibe, um yeah, Lust Murder is the other one.
Yeah.
um yeah, dude, it's sick. I'm really proud to have that in there. uh I want to do like I want to get a performance of that going here as well. um but yeah, I mean, the New York thing, it's kind of funny. It'll happen at some point. I'm really superstitious now to like tell anyone anything before it's like set in stone that's gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen or till it does happen. Because this shit,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm planning on moving to New York in the fall, and it's been just the bane of my existence having everyone in my life constantly ask me, "Do you still moving to New York?" And it like pisses me off because I feel like they want me to fail, they're like they want me to say, "Oh no, I was just kidding." I don't know. I think it's sort of the negative
Yeah.
kind of view I have with life. I'm like, I put a record out or play a show, and I'm just like, how is this going to go wrong? It's a very unfortunate way to live, So,
that is
but
unfortunate, but it's probably it's a fair. I mean, it's
I've just been burned so many times, because people do exactly, from what I understand, I don't think it had anything to do with you. It sounds like, I think people probably just are flaky at times,
oh dude, no, I'm innocent here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You're sweet boy from Missoula.
That's right. Yeah. um
I gotta sell these issues. I gotta get my kid a pair of shoes.
that's right. Yeah, my kid is hungry, dude.
Your trunk
No.
is full of magazines. You're
Yeah,
ready.
exactly.
Just is a door-to-door magazine salesman.
Oh god, I went nuts after the first issue with just buying mags off eBay.
Yeah.
That was my hobby this past year. Um
I love buying
irresponsibly
an
at
old
times.
magazine, dude. I love eBay for that. I love
It's so
picking up an
great.
old issue, flipping through old Playboys. That shit is a fucking real blast, dude.
It's cool.
Smelling the cologne folds in the corner,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
seeing if
shit,
they're
yeah.
still good. That's a great time.
Playboys are pretty cheap too on eBay as
Oh, hell
far as
yeah.
mags go. I mean, except
Very.
I mean, like the Trump one, I think like sells for like $400. Other than that, you can get them like for like $5 or so.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude. There's an antique store around here that I frequent, and the old ladies know that I'm always walking out with a porn. They know that they know I gotta grab one.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
boy ain't right.
yeah. We
No,
got.
they're
I mean,
fucking sick.
I wish we had more of that. Missoula's pretty spare on anything cool like that. There's some good like music shops and like get
Yeah.
some CDs or whatever. But as far as like magazines, I have to go to Barnes and Noble. And it's funny because I'm the one who like watches the kid during the day because I'm
Hmm.
the remote worker. So I take her with me like Barnes and Noble, and I'll see like the Penthouse all wrapped up in plastic, and half tempted every time to like wrap. Even like new Penthouse is pretty shitty, but I,
Whoa. They
like
make new ones?
they're pretty. Yeah, they're awful. It still like shows pussy and everything. They
What
they still
the
like
fuck?
they
Are you
still have that
serious?
over Playboy, but
No
It's
way.
yeah. But
Are
just
there
the
any hot
optics.
are there any hot models? Any like what type of like whose pussy's being sported?
I don't know. They're a bunch of no, but it
Who
just
is that? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I don't there's
Oh
probably I can't
my.
think of any like current nudie mags that really speak to me. I was talking to
They've cut out the middleman now. Any girl worth her salt's gonna just go on OnlyFans, and then why would you need, you know what I mean?
yeah. I've entertained reaching out to OnlyFans chicks to like be in the mag. It'll probably happen
Yeah.
at some point, but they're kind of their own kind of creatures. You've tapped into a way to like convert them into art or like be
I
productive
mean,
with their
sometimes
image.
if they reach out, but if not, I just fucking do it. I don't know. Like it's it's an image, you know. It's like it's
uh
very. I mean, I say it in the fucking article. It's very impersonal in a lot of ways. It's just something strikes me about the image, but like I'm not, you know. I mean, but then there's there's a part of my brain where it's like thinking about trying to create more narrative with it, and I'm like, am I creating this sort of like oil painting sliding into the DMs essentially? You know, like this is sort of my way of flirting, but it's only self-reflective. It's not like hey, here's a bouquet of flowers. It's like hey, it's you. You know, it's odd, and I don't think about it too much, honestly. I just am so like I'm so Coomer brained or whatever. Like it's just I'm desensitized to it, and it's the
Yeah.
art
I mean,
is
it's
the art is just it's the art is representative of just the fact that I think a lot of people, including myself, are just pounded with images and images all day long, and certain things stick out to you. And I have this like prescient moment every once in a while at work where it's just like I work in a restaurant and it's loud as fuck, and there's two movies playing on both TVs, and I'm just like, I'm being bombarded all the time. Like, where the fuck is the quiet? And
right.
if I ever
Yeah.
do find quiet, I don't, you know, I've been like a podcast junkie lately. Like I have so little silence in my life. And I think that is sort of what my art is about to a certain extent, of just like images and shocking and like getting your attention and like how to, I don't know, like it's, I think it can get more meta.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's like I can only be so focused on it. It's sort of taking up maybe 30% of my brain with work and like relationships and the music. So
Sure. Sure.
but I do what I can. I'm happy with what I do, and I get feedback from people and meet people through it. And you know, I think I essentially cold pitched myself to you after hearing your um you being on Jack's podcast. I was like, I want, you know, it's like it's
Oh
been a
hell
really
yeah.
great way for me. I think probably through Mario as well. Like I think we kind of first connected through him finding an image that he wanted to use for some album artwork. So, you know, I'm very grateful for it. But you know, I'm constantly figuring it out, I guess.
well, I mean, you're just like you're using technology like to benefit you
Yeah.
in this old art form that like before you'd have to like ask a chick to like come to your house and like stand in front of
Mm-hmm.
you ass naked, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like
Yeah.
you know, now you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to fucking do that anymore. So it's like, it's pretty flattering. Like, and you're not asking much from anybody. Like, they don't need to fucking leave their comfort zone and
Yeah.
fucking derobe. Like, it's all out there already. It's like,
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like I'm not going into DMs and being like, hey, I need to see you naked necessarily. It's generally already there for me to just, you know, it's just like,
yeah, you're
but
not like,
sometimes
hey,
I
I'm
do.
gonna,
Sometimes I do, you know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I don't lead with that necessarily.
Yeah.
You
No, I
gotta
think
build some
I mean, that
rapport.
was one of the questions in your interview is like there's something like classically romantic about it. Um,
Yeah.
you know, painting a girl, but the fact that she doesn't that it's kind of not consensual, like she doesn't know you're doing it, you know,
Yeah.
adds this sort of like new creep element. So it's
Yeah.
a funny one. I mean, it's best for you to not even think about and just do it because I do the same shit with like
Yeah.
the nudes I pull from is just they're usually older like 70s porno stuff, so I don't have
You'd have to write them a letter, like physically,
yeah,
to ask
yeah.
their, yeah,
um
or call their landline.
yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean taking screenshots of pornos and hobbling together in this arty way is
Yeah.
different, but
Yeah, I mean, I think you can yeah, the creep element. I mean, I think Robert Crumb was a big early influence on me, and it was just like he kind of let his perversion show. And I think that there, you know, probably is some way that we can healthily reintegrate the male sex drive into society, not in the way that it's kind of being just squashed currently, you know, where every guy is a loser, you know. Like I think, you know, I mean, if not everyone's gonna take it the right way, you know, I've dealt with that, you know, and like,
really,
but it, yeah, for sure. I mean,
is
I
there a
posted,
story?
well, yeah, I mean, the story is that I painted a picture that was not actually like naked, but I put it with a bunch of other ones that were right. I had a sort of like a slideshow, and then this person reached out and was like, you know, I don't know you. I don't appreciate, you know, this image being associated with this other images, you know, and I apologized and I took it down, you know, so that
Sure.
is what it
Oh,
is. Like, I
geez.
think at the end of the day, you know, like that, you know, it's like I'm going to respect if what someone wants, you know, but like,
Yeah. I mean, you didn't paint her naked or anything. Like, you didn't like change her.
no, it was like
You
a
didn't like change
silhouette,
the
if
photo.
anything. Yeah, I mean, it was there was just something sort of ethereal about it that I liked on the lighting. Um, you know, and you just got to live and learn. You know, I think whatever, you know,
Yeah. I
awkward,
mean,
but
it's a
it is
fucking
what it
free for
is.
all. It's a free for all out there, dude. Like,
I understand,
any
like I get
anybody could,
the
you know.
escalation of everything, you know, and it's sort of like I don't know. I think I'd rather just be myself and live with those consequences. I try to. I get nervous for sure. I thought about it for days. I was like, oh my
Have you
god.
ever seen Have you ever seen the pictures of Have you ever seen the pictures of the guy from Typo Negative? His like naked
Is that the
his
band?
yeah, what's his name? Peter Steele. There's like his photo shoot where he's like
I'm looking it up.
Yeah,
he
me
did like a
too.
male nude photo shoot where he's like, because his thing, he was kind of like a Danzig, you know, like a longer
Hmm.
version with like
Yeah.
a jacked vampire
Hmm.
type, you know, like
The
so he
first thing
did
it says here is why is type O negative problematic?
because
Cool.
a man held his penis in a photo, but like
Yeah, yeah.
he did a very like pornographic photo shoot, and like I would not be surprised if at some point that like you know I would not be surprised honestly if like there was a new norm in the near future where it's like if there was some full circle thing where it was like it became this thing where it's like holding your boner in like in like good lighting and like with a nice photographer, like if this became like oh, did you see his spread, like did you see Logan Paul's cock holding
Well,
cover or like whatever it is
that's
like.
sort of the
Hmm.
last. That's sort of the final frontier of it is where the roles have completely reversed, and the male is sort of the image, and the female is the viewer, and the male gaze has become the female gaze, and it's just like, yeah. I mean, I think you're exactly right, and I think that's sort of the push. It's like there's more cocks on TV than like vagoos, you know. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an interesting one. Because
that was like
the next issue of the magazine's like the man issue, and I'm just trying to fill it full of like just gonna be like a bag of dicks, to use like the classic like
yeah.
libtard term. But
Mhm.
there I it's an interesting one. Like when I first did
That'll be
the,
your most stunning and brave one, I'm sure.
it kind of feels
Yes.
that way. But there is something where like um women now have such a controlled sense of their self and their image. Who's that blurred lines chick, Emily? Um
Ratchowski. I don't know how to say her
yeah,
last name.
yeah, like
It's
she was,
RTJ
she's someone
something.
like she's known for being nude in a music video,
Yeah.
and she's kind of
But
come
now
out
she's
as
like an
like,
ultra feminist.
yeah, it well, like I think what she's trying to do even more than she's trying to be like there's brains behind these boobs, and you know that whole thing. And
That's the Mia Khalifa, I'm a sports
yeah,
journalist
yeah. And but
quandary.
she suddenly got like precious about her image, and that almost like treating like pictures of herself are like inherently copywritten and no one could do anything
Yeah.
with it. Which is pretty lame. But there's something well, when I was doing issue one, I thought there's like something transgressive about playing around with like naked women and that. But more and more I feel like doing like male um the like a homoerotic male nudity is there's something more transgressive about that than or like that gets people feeling a different way than female nudity.
Yeah.
um
Dude, you
I mean,
gotta
I
have
think
some balls to hold your boner, and look into a photographer's fucking eyes just be
Yeah.
like, I'm here for
Yeah.
this, dude. This is
Yeah.
what I got. I'm in this room with this dude. Photographers, oh man, all photographers wish, dude. I don't know. Have you ever look back and like see all these old photos of like actors like when they shot with some famous photographer, and like I feel like every photographer was like always making them like fucking suck on a banana, or like some
Yeah.
weird shit was like always going down like every photo shoot. Like there is like it's like they always, I mean, a lot of them were gay dudes like David LaChapelle and like things like that, like guys like that. But like there was definitely always something like, let me put you over the edge a little bit, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
let me position your underwear like this.
Yeah.
And you know, they're not all like, you know, a lot of them I think are straight actors that like
Yeah.
these photographers always kind of get them to go over and do something a little bit that blurs the line a bit. Like they love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's still a thing like in Japan. I was talking to Zach Langley of I'm So Popular podcast, and we're talking about magazines, and he showed me one called it's like Anon or An. It's ANAN. I don't know how they pronounce it. But like the whole thing was that like they take some pretty big name Japanese pop stars and celebrities and get them to do some fairly like erotic shoots.
Mhm.
Which is pretty sick. That because again, like the throughout the 2010s, especially after like Me Too, like the people's self-image is like so controlled, and they're not willing to like go there the way that they used to.
Yeah.
Because they used to like photographers used to have that sort of like after like Robert was it Mapplethorpe, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they would just fucking they had a like this they're just such tyrants. They that's why I love like being on like Belle Noisseuse for TPN, because like that sort of like authoritative director of like people's bodies and like getting them to contort themselves in these unpleasant ways to create a beautiful image is
Hmm.
you know, and basically torturing your subject, you know, in in that like classic Kubrickian
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
um yeah, I would love to like get to sooner than later get to that point where I can like command uh the subjects in my magazine to like do shit like that. It does get kind of like it's fun to take images from the internet and kind of, you know, piecemeal them in this sort of collage
Mhm.
style, throw a filter on it so it's like my own
Uh
like, you know, fair use copywritten work or whatever. But
Mhm.
I would love to like start directing my own photo shoots and
Yeah.
getting more real in that sense, because
that'd be
um
sick, dude.
that's where it's at. You know, I think too, like magazine, the whole, I mean, as far as like physical media, like no one reads anymore. No one gives a fuck about literature,
Yeah.
which
Dude,
sucks.
nobody's paying for that shit. Like every time a news article gets me to fucking click on it, and then it's like the thing pops up in front where
Oh God.
it's like pay for
Support the
this
New York
or
Times.
yeah, or exit
Yeah.
it out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no way I'm
Go fuck
ever
yourself.
reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way I'm ever reading the news ever again. Like,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
fucking joking? Like, you're not
Yeah.
getting a fucking crisp 5 out of this fucking hand any fucking day soon.
Uh-huh.
Like, just no way, dude. No way.
No, fuck
So
that.
I'd much rather buy a physical magazine than get played into some shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the thing that's like I'm optimistic about is that like like photo shoots and shit like that was kind of a niche interest. Like for people to even like care about who photographers are, you had to be sort of artsy fartsy. But
Dude, photographers were fucking horny as fuck for sure, dude.
yeah, well they
They
didn't
were they
have.
were fucking everybody that they were taking pictures of for quite a while, I assume.
Oh yeah. I think like Instagram.
Every photographer is just creating their own personal spank bank.
That's right.
Yeah.
Instagram and all that though, like kind of showcasing, famous magazine spreads and like kind of mainstreaming them in a way I think has brought some interest into the idea of like photo shoots and like what makes a good photo shoot. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I'm optimistic that that will generate interest in, printed images on paper in magazines. I also think too, like for American Vulgaria to work, it can't just be a magazine. It's never been intended to be that. Like it's going to be this whole broader, like, multimedia thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to start the magazine just because that's just where my interest lied. Um, but to kind of hit on all five senses and just the magazine being one or two of those, is I think the direction for any sort of like print publication has to go. Like Agitator is a good example of it because they're writers, but they podcast too,
Mm-hmm.
and they've dabbled in some like short film, music video, or like video stuff. Um, Kelby does
Where do
voiceover.
I hook my flashlight up to this?
Yeah, and then that.
Well, you
I
open
can't.
it
How
in
do...
the middle.
Yeah,
All right, guys, I'm gonna go on mute for here a minute. No,
yeah,
I know what you're saying, man. I mean, I think every artist is looking for ways to reach like the goal is to be to be a multi hyphenate. You know, you want to be writer, director, podcaster,
hmm,
artist, photographer. Like the issue is that people are so uh ADHD, whatever. Like you got to hit them on every avenue.
hmm,
They're like, if your Twitter is no good, like you're missing out on your Twitter. It's extremely frustrating, like I just want to paint on a certain level. I'm sure
yeah, yeah.
you want to do what you like the most about the magazine, but then there's all this sort of like finding the shipper or finding the
Oh,
venue
dude.
or talking to the people or how do I edit this in a way that reads well? Like there's all that minutia that sucks,
Uh-huh.
and like
Dude, it's Twitter is the main dude. I fucking hate Twitter.
I hate
And
it, man.
I know everyone.
17 views. It just sucks. I'm spoiled from my Instagram account.
Yeah. Instagram's
Like
fun. You
I'm
can
like,
throw up
wow,
a
3 likes.
you can throw up like an Instagram story and it goes away in 24 hours, and that's sick.
Yeah.
That feels more natural to how like the internet works anyways.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitter, I just dude it I admire like good posters, good tweeters, but I just feel ridiculous anytime I sit down and try to tweet anything. It's like, dude.
There's people deriving all their self-worth from that. And like
Yeah.
there's a period in my life when I wanted to be an actor and I looked around the class and I saw all these people who were just like so much more gung-ho about it. And I recognized that. And I was like, I don't want to compete with these people. Like so I got into writing, I got into directing. I kind of it's hard. It's hard,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
It is
there are
that
fucking
yeah.
people out there who are writing a thread right now, and they're like, oh man, this is so.
It feels more like a game that more than like all of them. Like, and I honestly don't like how much how much of Twitter is like the dunking on each other and like let me show you how good I just dunked on this fuck. And like
Mhm.
I mean, it's like, it is more of a battleground and shit and more of a gang, but like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I like the simplicity of like, oh, here's a picture. Oh, you like this
Oh yeah,
picture?
yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah.
And like I'm like, word, like that's awesome. Like
Yeah.
oh, this person liked my picture. All right, that's good. That's good enough for me. And then when I see like some barbaric shit go down on Twitter, I'm like, oh, I'm like, this is not even fun to like watch this really. Like, this is like kind of fucked. And
Yeah.
like, And then I think about like, okay, who's dedicating more of their day to like the dunking? And then I kind of like I see people's I see how these fucking creatures are fucking working, and then I think like, all right, it starts to make me think like, it's just their Twitter, but I see how they're functioning on it, and I think like it makes me not like some people
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, they're doing this more often than more often, not even halfway between what they're contributing or like a good idea that they had. Like I'm looking at their shit, and it's like 95% of the time they're just fucking trying to stab somebody on the internet, and I'm like, even though like they're trying to be funny or like I might agree with some of the shit. I'm still like, okay, majority of your output is like this raging negativity that I'm like seeing on my
Yeah.
phone, and
Yeah.
it makes me kind of I'm already distanced from them. It's just the fucking internet, but like I like I might not fuck with them as much anymore if I
Yeah.
see that like that's the kind of beast that they are.
Yeah.
So you could really see it on Twitter. Instagram, you don't really know how they're lurking, but um yeah, dude, I don't know. That's the only thing like I don't like how I feel like I've seen the dark side of like a lot more people that I didn't really know
Hmm.
what they were like, and then I'm just kind of like, oh man, that's a lot of like mad. It seems like they're mad like quite often, and I don't want to
Hmm.
be mad. I don't want to be fucking mad all the time. I don't want to see people mad all the time. So sometimes I kind of gotta like, I don't really want to follow that anymore. Or like I don't want to
Hmm.
see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a strange. I mean, very few people have like that Trump magic where they're just hilarious and serious at the same time. That's just like fun
Yeah,
because like
Yeah.
it is a game. Like it's just another game on your
Yeah.
phone, and
yeah, for sure.
even like people being mad, it's hard to gauge. Like I think a lot of the anger is in affectation where they're just like play acting at
Yeah.
being mad while they're just like sitting there on the shitter, looking bored as hell in real life,
I hope
you
so,
know, like
for sure.
it's hard. Like um, I don't know, man. It was fun, like kind of getting into that with the agitator guys, like how there's something inherently even more than like just libtarded. It's inherently like it just trivializes things while like ramping up the emotions. Because I mean, think like when the Twitter files dropped and it's like this big bomb that showed that the powers that be are coordinating to control information during election season, and like this is a
Yeah,
huge story, but like it went nowhere.
yeah,
Yeah.
So even in terms of like when you think about like, okay, well, Twitter can achieve or accomplish this, or it can like reveal the truth in certain ways, like when anything big or important is dropped, it's like people just all agree to like not take it seriously and just focus on whatever bullshit. um
yeah,
yeah, there's something. It's just not a serious space that everyone like pretends is, and I don't know and I'm
Yeah.
saying this like it is a thing I like personally want to like crack for myself where I can like use it and like figure out for my own sake how to play the
Yeah.
game. I've made a lot of friends on there. Like that's the way to do it too. Is like you find your group of people you admire and you just like everything they tweet, and then you feel good about it.
Oh, and people sharing like dope art and shit. Like all the coolest shit that I ever see is like on Twitter.
Yeah,
Like all these like old whatever it is, fucking retro magazine article clippings and like,
Hmm.
sci-fi paintings and like all this like random shit that I like are all these accounts that like that's all they do is repost that shit.
yeah,
And I love it. And I don't really get that on Instagram. I get like I just get people drinking on Instagram. Everybody's just fucking drinking
yeah,
constantly, dude.
yeah,
All these people I went to high school with are just fucking blacked out with their fucking husbands. Everybody's just blacked out and married. That's all I
yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But good for them.
Well, to tie it back into American Vulgaria as we wrap up here, I think Stan Haynes said it best when he said the most attractive feature a man could have is his silence.
Oh yeah,
Dang, dude.
yeah, absolutely.
That's sick.
Let me bring that up. Actually, I feel like I asked most people their most attractive features in a woman and a man. I love that from Stan Haynes. What was his for a woman? Is like her laugh.
It was her laugh. It was her laugh, and by something, her voice.
Yeah, her voice
Whatever.
and by extension her laugh is the
Yeah.
most attractive feature in a woman, and then on a man is just silence. That's so true. I've been rewatching the Dollars trilogy, Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
Um,
dude, I gotta do that. I gotta do that for the first time, actually.
it's
Never done
so
it.
dude.
I
It's
don't think
so
I've seen
good.
him either.
They're
Yeah.
so good.
That's
I've
the good and bad and the ugly, right?
yeah. It's a fistful of dollars for a few dollars more, and then good, bad, and ugly. Um, yeah, yeah, dude. That view of masculinity is fun to tap into that again.
Yeah,
Um,
like I can't shut the fuck up. I hate it, you know?
well, I mean, God, there's
We
like I admire I admire the Trumps, the Kanyes. I admire these people who just run their mouth and talk shit because
yeah.
Yeah.
there is something right now to being like on the offensive and being aggressive.
You don't want to get long housed.
Yeah, exactly. But well, it's like Marshall McLuhan said, like back in the 50s or 60s, like in this new electric technological environment, the only way to get ahead is to get out, so like you got to just not, we're talking about this being a game, you got to like almost not
Yeah.
play it and just stay in your, focus on your thing and put out and produce. um
Yeah, I mean the
Well,
compulsion
yeah.
to create is sort of self-destructive in a way, like I can sit here and tell you all the fucking problems that have come into my life just from me trying to be me and trying to like having this feeling very early on that I couldn't communicate myself to others and that I needed to kind of use art or music as my conduit, like something
yeah.
conversation. Like I'm like, I know I'm an asshole. I know I suck, but I know that I know there's something good in here. I can
Yeah,
just, if I can just get it for you, I'll be able to bring you over to my side, and like, that's why, I mean, I assume that's why everyone to a certain extent tries to sort of actualize themselves. It's just knowing that there's something worthwhile in there,
yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah. Stan Haynes, though, the attractive feature of man is silence. Like that one stuck out to me too. That stayed with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
The whole,
I'm gonna shut the fuck up tonight. No fucking
yeah,
tweets.
same.
No tweets. I'm in fucking solidarity till the fucking morning.
Yeah, we'll go on a tweet. We'll go on a 12-hour tweet fest
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Ryan,
No
thank you so much
retweets.
for
Thank you, dude.
coming on.
Dude, thank
This
you
was really
guys.
great.
It's
I had a
fun.
lot of fun.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
dude.
Appreciate it.
If you ever need any live music for one of these parties in the future,
Oh,
we're your
absolutely.
boys.
Yeah.
We'll
Dude,
come out.
yeah, I'm going to Carolina and Chicago instead.
Yeah,
That'd
dude,
be
Yeah,
why
way better.
not?
let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll shut it down.
Fuck yeah.
All right,
And
Sweet.
dude.
people check out, is it AmericanVulgaria.com to
AmericanVulgaria.com.
pre-order. You can get issue 1 now as well. And yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you.
dude.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Sick. All right.
Just hit the